Gonna be a video, so yeah. Um, so starting off by the title, as you can tell, I'm gonna be talking about Saturday and Sunday, and what they what I went through, and what I kind of had to go through to get goal 3. Now you're probably wondering, you didn't have to do much. You probably had a decent season at this lead at this weekend. No, I did not. This was probably one of the toughest weekends I've played and sweatiest weekends I've played, but also the amount appalling weekends I've played gameplay wise on FIFA ever. And I'm not joking. The gameplay was awful. And it was a massive disappointment to FIFA. I'm not even joking. If I was FIFA right now and I went over that gameplay would have been sacrilege. It would have been awful. So, starting off on Saturday. What happened on Saturday? Now, Saturday was probably one of the toughest weekend days I have ever faced. And it's down to, quite literally, the gameplay being even slower than Friday or Sunday. And it seems that Saturday seemed to be a bit of a cursed day. And for that day, I only won 2 games and lost about 8. And it was not great. It was not great at all. I was far back on track. I was not even close to being on track on my record. And it was proper woeful. I really did get let down by this game on Saturday. And there was a lot of things that were happening that shouldn't even happened in the first place when it comes to FIFA. So, how do I move on? How did I move on from this, from Saturday to Sunday? Well, Sunday I had a much more longer day. On Sundays I work at an actual job. I do part-time stuff, and when going into Sunday, I was tired. I was not really in the greatest of moods, and I thought, you know what? Let's get myself a beer. So I got myself a beer, sat down, looked at my team, and think, right, how can I make this team better? How can I improve my team? How can I go forward? And I started using other players like Jones back in the team. I went players like Zielinski, Mahrez, and swapping players in and out. And I actually did not use Rooney that much this weekend. It comes down to the fact he's only played, well, he hasn't played, but he's only got 8 goals and 4 assists. That is his poorest weekend league result Rooney has ever had on this game. And it goes to show, to be fair, with the games that he was playing on Saturday, and it comes to show with his stats. So for that, I put Mason Mount just behind Harry Kane, and Mason Mount was pretty much spot on. I know, and I wish I put him actually on that spot earlier, because Mason Mount was basically doing a lot of things. He was working, and he was doing the right stuff at the right areas. And this also meant I had Sarr on 7 cam, and I had Aaron's, I think, on 7 cam as well, because I put Van Dijk back in the team. So I put Van Dijk back in centre back, and it worked. The defending was a little bit better with Van Dijk being there, and he did literally step up to a new level. But it was down to the fact that I had to literally put players down on my bench just to try and add something, and it was not a nice experience. But when we got to it, when I played that first game and we lost that first game, I knew it was going to be a tough week. I knew it was going to be a tough day, because I had to basically win all my games to get gold 3, and it was down to that fact. It was down to that probability of actually getting, because the probability of me getting gold 3 for that weekend was probably 0.3%. That's how low I was that's how low I was going when it came to weekend league for this weekend, because it was not fun at all. So I was going around and I was like, okay, how can I win this? How can I go through this? And then we started winning, and then we continued to win through blinders of absolute banging footballs. And there'll be amazing football, there'll be really depressing football, but then there'll be like there'll be that one player that seems to just go around and save. And Mason Mount was that player. Mason Mount, I gotta say, was my player of the weekend. Even though Harry Kane did score more goals and got the same assists, but what do you expect from a striker? A striker's going to be scoring many, many goals. And the one thing I didn't expect Mason Mount to do was do as what he did. And I gotta say to him, he was fantastic. I really do 100% say, if you want Mason Mount in your team, go and fucking get him, because he was amazing. And when it came to Sunday, it was just non-stop peppering other people, and it was going down to when it got to near the end of trying to get the weekend League 1, it was getting harder and harder and harder, obviously with rank ups and everything. But it literally got down to penalties at the very end, and winning penalties was probably the most intense moment of my life. And man, it was a trek. I do mean it. It was a bit of a trek. So when it came to it, go won it. Sorry, but I'm so glad we won it. I really am glad we got in there and actually won games, and we won literally like, I think on that day I won like 8 games, or like around 6 games I think. And for the weekends previous, I've not been able to do that. But this weekend just showed me that I can actually do that. So my expectation coming into the next weekend is really, really high, because if I can still do that with a team that's really didn't kick off, then there's something wrong with FIFA. And I'm currently in process of making this team. So overall, I scored 83 goals and 77 assists in Weekend League. And that is a really big downgrade from last weekend, from 91 goals, but also 77 assists. So the assists were there, but the goals were lacking, and it was not a good figure. And it came probably down to like players like Royce, Sarr, and Kane not really hitting off in Saturday, but Saturday was literally a joke of a day. And even Rooney getting 8 and 4 was not fantastic compared to Rooney last weekend. Rooney got 21 and 16 last weekend, and you look at some of the goal like stats and everything. 21 Mane, 13 Sarr, 21 Rooney, and 25 Tony. Like, you've got 3 players there that are in their 20 in the 20 record, and this weekend there was only 1 player on 30. So that is also the case as well. And to be fair, I'm actually a bit surprised about some stats. Sarr going into last weekend, Sarr scored more goals last weekend, but this weekend he assisted more. And I don't think I actually played Royce last weekend. I think Royce was a substitute, which he was, 3 and 1. Because I had Mane at left wing as well, who had 21 goals, by the way. But this weekend I did decide to use Royce, and he got 14 and 6. So not a massive improvement from Mane, but Mane is there, as you can see, potentially being in the starting team. But that is there. So there is that stat recorded. So what am I planning for the next weekend league? That is if I do get around playing it, to be honest. With the way that game went, I'm really 50-50 if I want to play the actual game. But what is my idea? What is my plan? So my plan is to basically amp up the defense with pace, and also defending with coming around with Hermoso, and being lucky enough to even get in my red player pick for the 85 plus. Gabriel Jesus, I think it's Gabriel Jesus? Oh, Jesus Navas. Sorry, my bad. It's been a while since I've seen this player play, and the last time I saw him play was in the Premier League, and that was a long time ago. And so we've got Jesus Navas in right back, linked with Hermoso. And my plan for this is to try and get somebody like Marcus Llorente from Atletico Madrid, who, to be fair, has got a very good card. And I do like the look of his card. And the only problem with this formation that I've gone with, and this situation that I've gone with, is I basically need a Spanish CDM, and just Spanish CDM. If I, for instance, get De Jong in my red player picks, it won't work because Hermoso's not got. He's not in. He's not one. He's not from the Netherlands, and two, he's also not from Barcelona, and that is also the thing you've got to consider. So going for players like that probably won't work. It would be fantastic to get De Jong, to be fair, because I know De Jong will be a really, really good player to get, and it would be kind of a case of would I work better with Hermoso on 7 cam, or would I work better with a player who is on full cam and doing bits? So that is also something you've got to consider as well. And yeah, I could maybe change it up and say, look, instead of playing Hermoso on 7 cam, I could try and get him up to 8 cam with the manager. That's also another thing I can consider. But how's it going to work? What am I going to play? So, like I said, it is literally trying to get players in specific positions and trying to get them in this team. And I don't really expect much from my red player picks. Like in my red player picks, I did get Mason Mount, and that's fantastic. But I don't really expect, like, it was a very, very close, like, it was between him or Fofana, and I was really close to picking Fofana. But I thought I'll get Mason Mount because Fofana's cheaper than Mason Mount, and you could probably buy Fofana's team of the season anyway. So that's what I was kind of thinking of at the same time. But that is kind of that as well, and I could probably go, you know what, I need a better, instead of going for like Hermoso, I'll go for Fofana, put him at left back, go for a full back and centre back, and then switch it during the game, and do that way. So I'll get chemistry that way, but I don't think I'll get full cam on Fofana if I do that. So, but that is kind of a few ideas that I've got in my head, and for a few players that I'm waiting on till Thursday. I might wait until Friday actually, until Friday to really start like looking into selling players and going through my team and thinking, right, who would sell more, who would get more, who am I going to get the most out of, and all that stuff. So, and also the team of the season. I'm streaming this on a Thursday, and the team of the season comes out on Thursday as well. So Tuesday you won't get anything today, but Thursday you will get a guaranteed team of the season pack. Now the only problem is I have for some of the resources I actually had, I've not got much anymore. So I've definitely got to play my cards right and see if I can get something decent through packs. And if I can get the right cards and the right stuff, I'll be dandy. And good. And I've only got 100k left. I did have 180, but I used some of that money to try and get other SBCs done, which I never got anything in return, which is fucking bullshit. But you move on. But there is that as well. And I've even got players I can sell that I can get that money back anyway. And by the time this weekend, by the time it goes to Thursday, and I've sold a few players, I've probably got the money back and it'll be sorted again. So when it comes to this, it is going to be a bit of a trek, and it will be interesting to see who I get in Thursday now because of Mason Mount, and it seems that the actual weight of packs have been upgraded somewhat. So there is that as well. But it is a bit of a mission to see, right, who will fit in this team best, and who will actually make this team improve. Because if I get Marcus Llorente and he doesn't improve this team, that's going to be a bit of a situation. That's not going to be great at all. And if, for instance, I did need to get a De Jong, and I don't get anywhere close to a De Jong, that's not going to be great. But for Marcus Llorente's card, he's got like 90 pace, so I really do think he's going to be absolutely insane. Even for a centre mid, like, he's just going to be rapid, and he's going to be defending a lot as well. So that is that. That is that to kind of look into. But yeah. Overall, if I had to rate Saturday, I'd rate Saturday a 2 out of 10. It was just a poor day. It was not fun at all. the gameplay was so whack, and it just could have been so much more better. And for Sunday, I'll rate it an 8 out of 10. I felt like on Sunday it was a lot more on the line, and it felt like a proper football moment, like where you just somehow get there, and it's like a magic moment out of nothing. So I rate that, and I do take that, so I rate that a lot. So, but I hope you guys have enjoyed. Please do subscribe, and I will be continuing on more stuff. There will be a montage shortly coming soon. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow or Sunday, but there is that as well, and I will get around to that shortly. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Please do subscribe, and see you next time.